Morning, guys. Just a little Sol update this morning. Obviously, we've had a nice, very nice day. We've had a nice move from the lows. This is definitely looking impulsive to me on the lower time frames. We had a five-wave rise here. One, two, three, four, five. Very minor ABC pullback, and now we're going again. So I do think the Sol dip is over. We had a nice three-wave move from the highs. Had a nice A, B, C move from the highs. Within this C wave, we also had five waves. One, two, three, four, five. This wave five was some kind of diagonal. So we had the A, B, C, five within the C. Failed to sort of break this potential neckline or whatever you want to call it, which I'll get into that in a second on why I didn't think this was a real head and shoulders. Um, But looking at Sol BTC as well, I still think Sol is going to be the fastest horse because Sol BTC, look, obviously today is currently in engulfing. There's still 5 hours left in the daily, but all in all, the Sol BTC chart looks identical to Sol USD. We have the three-wave move down, all the sub-waves accounted for. Obviously, this has now broken this trend line, so I do think a new impulse has probably started. On Sol USD and Sol BTC. Looking at Sol USD on the higher time frames, I do think that this move is probably a wave four of a higher degree. Whether it's a wave four correcting this move here, or whether or not it's still part of this leg here, I'm not entirely sure. It could still be part of that leg as well. The only reason I'm not sure is because obviously this wave, there's a lot of extensions within this wave. We've got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. It could be part of this leg still, and the wave 4 that comes after we get to a new high is actually correcting this leg. But all in all, I do think we're probably going much higher, and even if we're still part of this leg here, we still have another wave four to correct this leg, and then we still have another wave four to correct this leg as well afterwards. So I do think we're going to continue making new highs and continue making three-wave pullbacks and continue higher, and then once the structure looks complete and it looks like 5 of 5 is completed, marking from this very first wave 1, 2 down here, that's when I'd probably start to get worried. But at least for now, looking at this on the daily, I think this still has plenty of juice left in the tank, and I think we're probably heading to 80 plus on this next leg, and then we'll reassess when we get there. But at least on the lower time frames, nice three-wave move. Failed to break below this prior wave four down here, wicked it very momentarily, and are now starting to bounce. So obviously, I'm still bullish on Sol. Obviously, a lot of people have been, well, over the last couple of days, were commenting on this potential head and shoulders that's forming here. And I think the reason why I didn't think it was a legit head and shoulders is because I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but within a head and shoulders, you want to see all the volume in the right shoulder, and I feel from experience, if you have more volume in the left shoulder and the head than is in the right shoulder, it's most likely bait. In this case, not only did we have more volume in the head, but we also had more volume in the left shoulder, and it was declining volume in the potential right shoulder. So I did think that that was bait and was most likely not going to eventuate from anything. I feel like a lot of people, when they look at head and shoulders, they don't pay attention to volume profile, and that's why they get chopped out, because obviously head and shoulders are real patterns. They definitely happen, but from my experience, they not only need to have the right structural look, but they also need to have the correct volume profile. And in this case, the volume profile did not match. We had far more volume in the left shoulder, even more in the head, and in the right shoulder was actually the lowest amount of volume. So I didn't think this was a real head and shoulders whatsoever. And obviously we've now bounced from there. Um, Someone pointed out in the chat the other day that Nvidia actually did the same thing recently. And yes, Nvidia does look identical to Nvidia. Sorry, I just mucked up that. Nvidia does look it did look identical to Sol. And again, just as we had on Sol, let me just get back to Sol USDT here. There we go. Again, with Sol USD, what we noticed, with the volume profile not matching. That was the same again with Nvidia. Um, the volume in this sort of left shoulder was lower. Um, so the volume in the right shoulder was still higher than the left shoulder. Sorry, the volume in the left shoulder was still higher than the left shoulder, but again, there was even more volume in the head. So the volume was declining. Um, the volume in this sort of right shoulder did not match for a real head and shoulder either. And again, briefly, momentarily made a new low and then has already moved up to an all-time high. So I do suspect that that's probably showing us the roadmap for Sol as well. And I do think that this head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, is probably not going to eventuate because although the structure's there, it just simply the volume profile doesn't match, and it is obviously a three-wave move down. We're already reclaiming this potential neckline or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's kind of my views on Sol. I do think that we're probably going higher. Um, Still 4 hours and 57 minutes into the daily close. At this rate, if we keep going higher, this is going to end up being an engulfing. But I was expecting probably a little dip overnight, like after this sort of move up here, and it didn't even happen. I thought before I went to bed, I thought this move here was probably going to retrace and do maybe a 61 at retrace like that, and the dip was extremely shallow. So what that's showing me, in my opinion, is the market is simply extremely strong right now, and I think a lot of people got shook out yesterday, not just on Sol, but I think a lot of people got shook out on everything, and that is obviously fuel for us to start marking up significantly with shallow dips. If we do get dips, I'm definitely going to be looking to buy, but at this stage, I don't really think we're going to get any significant dips. I think we're going to start moving up quite fast, and I think a lot of people are going to be forced to chase price and buy higher. But yeah, that's kind of my view on Sol, guys. I do think we're probably going to be heading to new highs, and I think $80 is probably a nice target for this next leg up. And yeah, that's it for today. Cheers, bye.